It's widely considered that the analog era is drawing to a close in the financial sector. Getting with the modern times, Korea's commercial banks are preparing to phase out paper-based bank books. Cha Sang-mi has more.
Korea may boast some of the most cutting-edge technology and the fastest internet in the world, but over 80% of its people still rely on bank books to keep track of their bank transactions. Until now, every time a customer opened a new account, they would get a paper ledger free of charge. But starting Friday, customers won't need to bring in their paper banknotes for transactions, and banks won't issue the books unless people specifically request them. Despite being small enough to fit in your hand, banks say it costs $5 to $16 to make this one bank book, and that cost eventually gets passed on to the consumer. Financial institutions used over 7 billion sheets of printed paper in 2010, almost 20% of the total paper used in the country. In 2015, the Financial Supervisory Service created a new policy to tackle this issue. The paperless project gives incentives such as not charging transaction fees to clients who open new accounts and opt to use the digital service only. The Financial Supervisory Service is aiming to eliminate paper transactions entirely by 2020. Some say the emergence of internet-only banks such as KakaoBank is driving traditional banks to press ahead with their transition to digital banking. But other experts claim that with rapid advance of technology, processing work is becoming digitized and automatic across the sector.
It is not the effect of the internet-only banks, but just one of the developments in the banking industry around the world. But we may say the launch of the internet-only banks can be one of the factors behind traditional banks' acceleration of their mobile operations.
The policy can reduce the amount of paper used in the financial sector and increase productivity for both banks and their customers. But there are concerns that older generations might not be able to keep up with the trend.
My generation has no problem not using a bank book, but I know it could be a problem for my parents' generation. I do everything online, but my parents always take their paper bank book with them when they go to the bank.
However, it isn't something to worry about as nothing changes for clients over 60 years old, and the financial institutions are aiming to make digital banking more accessible for everyone. Cha Sang-mi, Arirang News.